All right, y'all. Sound right. There we go. Late night. So let me get on here now. Go ahead and jump on this mug so we can talk a little bit again. Um, yeah, there's always something to talk about in the combat sports world, and I ain't really just focused on WMMA today, which is crazy. I want to talk about something different. Just a little different. Marcus Bell, what's up, man? Not like a great deal different, but fight. I was kind of researching. I was kind of researching these fights. Wasn't a WMMA fight, of course. It's Figueiredo and Moreno. I know the fight is happening, and shout out to BJ and Bloody Canvas. They were talking about the um the fight being scheduled. The rubber match being scheduled in what, December, by the end of the year. And I just had to go back and watch both fights again, man, because both fights were just so different. Both fights were just so different. So I said, let me go back and check out the first one, how it ended, and you know, um, watching it again. I'm gonna give you my thoughts here in a minute. I'm to break it down. Watching it again, it was just like, wow, like there was so much I missed. Like, where was my mind at the first time I watched it? You know what I mean? So I want to talk about that tonight. And I might talk about Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter first because that fight might not happen. I mean, it's supposed to be a done deal, but I'm gonna talk about that a little bit and just kind of give you my quick thoughts on that fight. And then, I want to discuss Zhang Weili and her training camp. Her training side by side with Henry Cejudo. I've been seeing that on her IG. That was some of the latest that she posted on her IG. So, that's good news. That's good news that she's getting sharp. She's got a new addition to camp. And yeah, it's going down. We know it's going down for sure. So yeah, man. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. It's a late night one. I've been doing these uh a lot lately. It's like the third or fourth one. I had the free time right now, so I said, okay, let me go ahead and get on here and discuss Davidson Figueredo and Brandon Moreno and this rubber match. But yeah, I just watched the first fight and the second fight again last night, and I know that the first one ended in a draw, and a lot of people, they were satisfied with how it went. The first time I thought it could have gone either way myself. I kind of leaned more towards Brandon Marino the first time. But when I watched it the second time, I think that, honestly, I know some people disagree. I think Davidson Figueredo, I think he won the fight. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and jump on this one first. I think Figueredo won the fight. I think he did enough, regardless of a point deduction in what, the third round. I just I feel like everything he was putting together in there was a little bit too much for Brandon Marino early on. Now, Brandon Marino, he definitely fought a good fight. He showed how tough he was and how he could stay in there 5 rounds with the champion. And he definitely built up. He definitely was building up to something. But I think he kind of let some rounds slip with a little bit of inactivity. First time around, the first round this time I actually had to watch it. The first round I actually had to watch 2 times. Because first time around, I was looking at what Brandon Marino was doing, and I was kind of thinking to myself that, okay, Brandon Marino, I think he's winning this round. But then I had to go back and just say, let me check again here. Like, sometimes I do that with fights, that are real close or draws. I have to kind of watch a couple of rounds, more than once. And the next time I looked at what Figueredo was doing, and to me, Figueredo was definitely landing the more effective power shots. I think he was putting together some nice power shots. Now, Moreno, he was establishing a good rhythm with his jab off the back foot, and he was landing a good right hand here and there. But I think overall, that first round, you were getting a lot of good power shots from Figueredo. He was leading with his left hook, and he was cracking with some good shots. Backing the challenger up. So I had to factor in a lot of that stuff. Just going back and watching that first round twice last night, and just seeing the pace that was set by the champion. And that's why I say it was so different from the second fight. The first fight, both fighters were fresh and they were really coming in with something to prove here. And I think Figueiredo was really setting a nice pace too. I think he was setting a high pace, for Moreno. And Moreno had to give him a lot of credit. Moreno he had to give him a lot of credit because he was able to withstand a lot of the punishment that was being dished out. He was taking a lot of body shots, taking a lot of good right hands, but he was coming back with his own shots. And then I think in the second round, Figueredo did pick it up a little bit more and put his punches together, and he landed some nice shots. He was doing some damage here. He was doing some damage. But I think that third round it started to kind of change a little bit. As far as the pace, I think the pace really started to go um, in Marino's favor. Especially whenever he started to factor in more of a ground game. Marino, and it was that low blow that kind of turned things around there. Kind of turned things around for everybody, right? When that low blow landed, point deduction, kind of put Figueredo in trouble. I think he scraped his didn't he poke his eye also? I think there was an eye poke early in the fight too. So when that happened, and then the low blow happened, they had to take a point. Jason Herzog took a point, and that kind of made the fight seem a little bit even. Because I think some people were feeling like Moreno he did enough to win the first round, but when I watched it, I said, man, I think Figueredo did enough to win the first two rounds, and then that third round was kind of evened up because Figueredo was again, kind of pushing the fight into his favor in the third round, but then that point deduction cost him, you know. And the fourth round, I'd say that was probably the best I've seen from Moreno. He was really putting his punches together. He landed a good head kick. Argo, what's up? Argo, was that somebody new or did you change your name? Is that Mark still? Hold on. Hold on. Marcus said either the Crawford or Porter fight happens, we all watch another Jake Paul fight. Yeah, I'm not watching that. If that happens, I'm definitely leaving boxing if we get a couple more Paul fights. But yeah, I think that Moreno started to turn the fight around in his favor more so in the fourth when he started to put more punches together. And yeah, he landed. I think it was a good head kick he landed that kind of put Figueiredo on the back foot, and it kind of made him respect that power, and kind of go back and reassess things. So fourth round, yeah, that was like the one I gave to Moreno, and then that the fifth round, I actually had to go back to Figueiredo, what he was doing, because I think he was being a little bit more active, and he did score a takedown in that round too, that kind of pushed it his way. So in my opinion, I thought he did enough to win round 1, 2, and 5. I actually might watch it again just to kind of see what I missed again. But I thought he did enough to win the fight. And I think they both put on a good performance. For such an active year, and they took that first fight, with such quick notice because like I think Figueredo was like what fighting 4 times in 2020, and he had just like fought 3 headliners. So he went into this championship fight on a co-main event of what was it, UFC 256. So it was a lot riding on it. It was a lot riding on it, and I think that Figueredo he had the momentum in that fight, and I think he really took it to Moreno. I give Moreno a lot of credit because, like I said, he did have the skills that was giving Figueredo trouble. He was able to take his best shots. So a rematch was necessary, right? Rematch was necessary. I mean, in the rematch though, it just seemed so. It seemed different here. It seemed different because Moreno. Hang on 1 second. Okay. All right, I'm back. Oh, he said name change. Too many pure and on another channel was asked to change it up, and that's all I could think of at the time. Okay, yeah, yeah, I noticed that, man. There's a bunch of marks over here, man. Well, got Marcus, but I got like the marks. three other marks on this channel, and I was just starting to refer to you as Brisbane Mark or Mark from down under, you know. So yeah, but yeah, that second fight between Figueiredo and Moreno, definitely a different pace. I think Brandon was much more confident. He's much more confident in the second fight. He started commanding the center of the octagon more. He wasn't backing up as much. Still using a good jab. Still boxing. He was really starting to take the center of the octagon and try to take the lead here. Um, Figueredo's body language was a little bit different. It was a little bit different. He didn't really try to press forward or put the aggression. He was taking his time. To me, he was kind of being a little bit more cautious. I mean, he was landing some good left hooks. He was leading with the left hook, but this time around, he was getting hit. He was seeming to take more shots, and he wasn't letting his hands go as much. And when it went down into that second and third round, I really just I think that the pace was favoring more so in Moreno. I don't know if it was because Figueredo was just fighting back to back so much. I think that's what kind of maybe was kind of getting to him. He was fighting. Let me check his schedule real quick because he fought. Davidson Figueredo had fought like so many fights back to back. And he fought four times in 2020. And then after that, he jumped right back into a rematch with Moreno. So I was kind of thinking that might have had, a little bit of effect on him. Let me see here. Uh, yeah. Hold on here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because he had fought in February of 2020. Then he came back in July and fought. Then 4 months later, he fought Alex Perez. Then less than a month later, he took on the number one contender. Right. So he fought four hard fights. He had three headliners, and then in less than a month, he took on the number one contender. And fought him to a draw. And I think that was probably one of the toughest fights. That was probably one of his toughest fights because all the other fights were finishes, right? But this one, he went a full 5 rounds and took some punishment. He took a lot of punishment. So, going right back into a rematch, uh, which was this year, it took about 6 months off for it. You know, with Moreno, I think that was favoring Moreno more so than it did Figueredo. I think Figueredo, he was just, a little burnt out and still suffered some damage from that first fight, which to me, I think he won. So going into this one here, he seemed a little bit slower. Second fight, he seemed a little bit slower and reckless. You know, um, Moreno, he took full advantage of that, got the rear naked choke as soon as he got him down. Figueredo, he was able to fight it off for a little bit, but he let that arm slip under, man, and just, when he got locked in, he was done. Let me see here. He said, "Boom, about to give Lipsky her walking papers." It's gonna be competitive. I mean, my pick is I'm picking Bohm in the fight, but yeah, I think it's gonna be competitive. I wouldn't be surprised if Lipsky won, but I think Bohm has the well-roundedness to win the fight. Yeah, I do. But yeah, I think this rubber match is going to decide who's the best between Figueiredo and Moreno. Because I think that again, the first fight, Figueiredo, I think he did enough to win, with the aggression. But Moreno, from what I was seeing, he was able to build something up. He built up that momentum in that first fight and took it into the second fight. And it was just like he was getting better and better. But with this little break, hopefully, about 6 months off, hopefully, Figueiredo, he can he's been taking a mental break and, resting his body as well. But I don't know, man. This one's hard to call now because I don't know. Usually, like they say, the guy that loses the second fight The guy that loses that rematch, he's going to lose the third fight, and it's kind of always happened that way throughout history, even in boxing. So we'll see. We'll see if the momentum builds back up for Figueiredo, or if he goes on a decline. If he improves, especially in the fashion that he lost. It's going to be hard to tell because when he came into the second fight, he seemed to be a little bit more cautious, like I said, right? So if he goes into this third fight with the same way and not the first fight energy, it might go more so towards Brandon Moreno's way. But yeah, like I said, I had to go back and watch both of the fights, kind of catch up here again, and just kind of take some notes and see, because I'm kind of fascinated with their matchup. Just because the fact that Davidson Figueredo, he was able to stay active in such a rough year in 2020. He stayed active during the pandemic, headlined 3 cards, got 3 finishes. Then less than a month later, he took on Moreno in the #1 contender. Now he's gonna fight him again. Well, he fought him again in June. Now he's gonna fight him again at the end of the year. So I gotta give the guy a lot of credit. I'm kind of fascinated in rivalries like that. Especially when guys are, taking on the best. The best fight the best. Because Moreno, hey, he probably could have said, "I don't want to fight him again. Let me take on somebody else." But since he won the belt, he's just kind of been on since he fought his way up to #1 and won the belt, he's just been kind of on a high right now. But yeah, Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter, I'm glad this fight is finally happening. It's been like 2 years, almost 3 years in the making. It's official. Sean Porter got got his um got his title shot coming up November 20th. Um, I'm glad that the fight didn't go to purse bid. I'm glad that you know PBC and Top Rank, they could come to terms and negotiate this money and settle everything. Because I'm tired of hearing about these guys fighting over money and having these diva mentality, diva having these diva ways. Carrying this diva mentality in boxing gets on your nerves sometimes, man. Because the more guys do this, it kind of stalls out the best fights. And with the position that Crawford and Porter in right now, they need each other. MMA's been kicking boxing's butt right now. And I'm a diehard boxing fan, but MMA's been kicking boxing's butt whenever it comes down to the best fighting the best. A fight like this, if it was in the UFC, would have already happened. Crawford Porter, if he's your #1 contender, they would have been fighting already, right? But these guys, they can kind of hold out and stall out, take another road, put out step aside money to get away from certain fights, where they can say, "Oh, this guy ain't worth it. This guy ain't on my level," and that'll be the end of it. But in the UFC or MMA, period, you have to fight that guy that's in your sights. That's #1. But with everything solved now, we're gonna get a good fight, Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter. One reason, like I said, I want this fight is because Terrence Crawford, he still needs a name in Sean Porter. This is a name he needs. He doesn't have the resume like Errol Spence or even like Keith Thurman. He needs this name in Sean Porter to prove to us that he is one of the best welterweights. Because in my opinion, this fight for Sean Porter, this fight for Terrence Crawford against Sean Porter is better than his last 3 opponents, his last 4 opponents. If he fights, if he would have just moved up to 147 and fought Sean Porter and not fought Kell Brook and Amir Khan, I would have been fine with that. I would have been fine with that. Like he fought Sean Porter one time and looked real good, then I'd say, oh yeah, he's ready for Manny, he's ready for Errol. You know, like that. The weight of Sean Porter holds more than Kell Brook and Amir Khan at this point put together, or even Benavidez, or even Kavalowski. All these guys don't hold that weight of a Sean Porter. You know, um, Sean Porter's full-fledged welterweight, gave tough fights to Kell Brook and Keith Thurman and Errol Spence. He beat Danny Garcia, so why not? Why wouldn't you want this fight? Because this is how you corner a guy if you really want him. If you go in there and fight Errol Spence, I mean, you go in there and fight Sean Porter, opponent that Errol Spence fought to a split decision, and you beat him more convincingly, you beat him, in a much more convincing fashion, that'll make your fight with Errol Spence even more tantalizing. It'll even make people even want to see it even more. So I'm just glad that they came to terms. Hopefully, nothing happens. I like this style matchup. You got the boxer versus the pressure fighter. Marcus said boxing might spit in your face. Our faces give us Rolly and Tank. Yeah, they are going to give us Tank though. Yeah, Rolly and Tank is in talks too. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. They probably give that to us for free, right? And then make us pay for Crawford versus Porter. But let me talk about that real quick too, man. The pay-per-view side. Like I like seeing guys get their money, but with the way they've been pushing this fight away and pushing it aside, both sides really not coming to terms early on and not wanting this fight. I think the fans are we're owed a free fight. Like to me, I don't know if this should be pay-per-view. I don't see it as pay-per-view. Like if this was UFC, this would probably be a UFC fight night card, right? Like, let's be real. I think it would probably be UFC fight night level. Maybe a pay-per-view. I don't know. It might be pay-per-view because it would be a number one guys. Depends on who else you put on the card, but in a manner of the way, we have boxing, I think that at most it would probably be a UFC fight night card. With the numbers that Terrence Crawford's done and the numbers that Sean Porter's done. Oh, Teron Brown, what's going on, man? With the numbers both of these fighters put together, it don't really spell for like a big main attraction that people are going to pay for, right? So I think, man, like it should be free. I think it should be free. Um, I will check it. I am going to check it out though. I am going. Probably will get it. But yeah, I think that it should have been a free card just because of the fact that you know Terrence Crawford his last few pay-per-views haven't done that good, and he's not really like a huge star. So it'd be better if they just did this fight on ESPN and PBC or on Showtime and let it do numbers that way. Because I think if it was on free TV, you probably pull in like over 1 million views. Hell, I think a couple of Terrence Crawford's fights when they were on free TV got in 1 million views. So why not? Yeah, yeah. That's what I think though. I don't really think it should be pay per view at this point. I mean, pay per view is kind of a dying. It's kind of a uh dying form of entertainment. As far as delivering entertainment now. So yeah, gonna be a good fight though. I think Sean Porter does have a style that could give Terrence trouble early on in the fight. Just his awkward movement, his pressure, his boxing. But I think Terrence Crawford is a very, very strong fighter. He's a accurate hitter, and it may take him a few rounds to figure the style out. But I I have to favor Terrence Crawford in this fight. I got it 60-40. Anything could happen, of course, but 60-40 for Terrence Crawford because he's much more of a polished boxer in there. He doesn't really lose his form. He keeps his form in there, and he continues to get better in each round. Terrence never really goes on a decline in a fight. Like he'll figure you out after a few rounds, 2 or 3 rounds, and then he's in a groove. It's never on the opposite side. It's never where he's going down, 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 never letting his hands go. He gets better and better as the fight goes on. So Teron Brown, what you think, man? We're talking about Davis and Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. Who do you think? Who do you think won that first fight between Figueiredo and Moreno? Like I said, I might talk about it again, but I think Figueiredo did enough to win the first fight, and he kind of lost his momentum in the second fight because he was fighting so many fights back to back. I know it was like 6 months in between that fight, when they fought the championship fight, but I think he just kind of lost his momentum and came back, lost focus, and Now it's kind of putting the third fight on more of an even playing field. Brandon Moreno is now got that momentum. He got the juice. I think he's getting better as a fighter, and he showed how tough he is. So, Figueiredo's got his hands full going into this fight. Figueiredo's very athletic though, man. He's very athletic. Very athletic, got that burst, hits hard, hits hard. That's why I gave Moreno a lot of credit because he took some hard body shots. He took hard body shots in this fight. Moreno is much more steady and consistent, but that element of surprise and that athleticism of Figueiredo is what really made me think that the first fight went his way. Yeah, Argo, you said Fig got the first fight. I think so too. I thought he did. Daniel Edwards, what's up? He said Crawford has an accurate punch that will punish Porter. Yeah, I think he does too. Yeah, I had him beating Marino too. Shame that that's delayed until further notice. Yeah. Um, I thought I thought he was, man. Like I had to give him 1, 2, and 5 for sure. I don't know. We might have to do a round by round of the fight. Maybe I'll do a live stream. I like to do that with close fights. First, like I said, the first round, I think Figueiredo landed more power shots. Second round, he landed more power shots. He did better with the combination punching. Third round, I just made it a tie because the point deduction. Fourth round, I had it for Moreno because he picked up the pace. He outlanded him. He outlanded Fig, hurt Fig in that fourth round. But in the fifth round, Moreno his work ethic kind of went down. I think that Figueiredo landed the more significant strikes in the fifth round, and then he scored a takedown to top the round off, right? So I had it 3 rounds. 3 rounds, I had one, two, three rounds to one and one tie. That's what I had it. Yeah, it would be kind of weird if he did get the belt back. It's like I said, that momentum sometimes when a fighter loses the second fight, they don't win the third fight. It's almost like always happened that way. I don't know, man. Like he's got to get back what he had in that first fight. Hopefully, he comes in refreshed. Though. I mean, I just want to see it. I just want to see a good fight, though. I don't want to see him go in there and get washed or something. You know what I mean? I don't want to see him go in there and get washed like he's damaged goods now. Yeah. Or go crazy. He said, "Well, Tehran's here. Where BJ at? BJ around somewhere. He probably out. It's probably knocked out. Yeah, that's true too. The weight, yeah, did the weight in the wrong in the second fight. Maybe he does it better this time. Yeah, yeah. I like both guys. I like Marino though. I like his style. I just being honest, like I said, I like Brandon Marino. And I was kind of going for him because he was the underdog and he fought his way to number one contender. But I I I just don't think he won the first fight. I mean, it's already said and done now. But I just going back at a second look, I just didn't think he did enough to win it. So I kind of have it 1-1, and I'm just kind of curious as to what this fight's going to look like. It's really we're really at a point now where both guys are kind of accustomed to what they can do and they can take each other's punch. So who's gonna be the aggressor in this fight? Who do you think? Like, is Marino gonna is Marino gonna command the center like he did in the second fight, or is he gonna pick up with that same type of aggression he had in the first fight? And I don't know. I don't know. I kind of see a chess match this time around. Y'all remember how Stipe and DC kind of took the third fight, right? The third fight wasn't explosive as the first and second fight. Like there wasn't really that big element. I mean, there was a couple times where Stipe looked like he was hurt. Then there was a couple times where DC looked like he was about out in the third round. I mean, the third fight. But it's going to be a fight where both guys are. not going to take crazy chances, and they're going to be looking out for you know they're going to be looking out for the 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 power shots from each other, the power shots, or the takedown. They're wise. They're definitely going to be wiser to each wised up in this fight. So Daniel said he got money on Figgy in this fight. Okay. Really, it is, man. Like, I know he won the second fight, but you could almost look at this fight as being close to 50-50 again, because you never know. You said Ernest about stop being mean. What did he say about about Arian Lipsky? um yeah, y'all talking about that real quick. Okay, so yeah, Arian Lipsky though, she's got a chance. She's definitely got a puncher's chance, and she's also got a chance at what she's learned with Amanda Nunes. But to me, I can only go so much off of that. Like, I can't go off of too much of her working with Amanda Nunes, because I mean, Joanna and Carolina started working together, right? Carolina went into the camp with Joanna for her last fight, and that didn't really do Carolina any justice, right? Y'all saw what happened to Carolina Kobakevich in her last fight. So I just think that the momentum of a fighter like Mandy Bohm, and even her level of well-roundedness, it could give issues to Ariane Lipsky. It really could. Ariane Lipsky, to me, um, kind of showed similar weakness to like Marina Rodriguez has. Marina Rodriguez is pretty much, she's pretty much there for the taking whenever she's on the ground, right? Like, she almost seems a little bit helpless on her back. So looking at somebody like Ariane Lipsky, JoJo, um, Antonina, Montana De La Rosa, when they get her down to the ground, it's over, right? It's almost in similar fashion. But Marina Rodriguez, she can get back up. That's the difference. Marina Rodriguez can get back up and dictate the pace of a fight with her striking. Marina striking, I think, is definitely a suit that she can stick with versus Ariane Lipsky. Like, Ariane Lipsky can hit hard, but there's still something about her overall striking. It's not winning her these fights. She'll have moments, but it's not enough. Like, she opened that second round with Montana De La Rosa, cracked Montana De La Rosa with one big shot, and never could follow up because Montana did what? She straight switched levels and took her down, and that was it, right? See, I think Marina Rodriguez, if she gets taken down one round, it might look bad, but then she'll adjust real quick in the next round and start dictating the pace with her striking. Excuse me, I had to get some water. Marcus said that Molly McCann win over Lipsky still makes me cringe. Yeah, I was gonna watch that fight last night, but I didn't. I watched Mara Romero Barella and Taylor Santos again. And I want to talk about that fight real quick too. Yeah, because that just didn't seem like Taylor Santos in that fight. Like, every performance after every performance after that Mara Romero Barella fight, Taylor's looked much, much, much better and like a totally different fighter. Mm. Oh, you got Span. I got Smith. Not even by a wide margin, but you see, you got Span beating Smith. Smith moving down to 185 after Saturday night. Yeah, he could be, depending on how he looks. Could move down. I doubt he'll retire, but yeah. I refunded 70% of my Lipsky bet as my confidence low. I mean, hmm, Mandy Bone, I mean, she been studying too. I mean, I was watching it. Yeah, like I said, I watched her little interview, and she knows the game. She was like, I know the girl got striking, but she was like, I got striking too. And I know when she gets taken down to the ground, she was like, "Hey, seems like that's her weakness." And she said, "Hey, I get down to the ground, I got the ground game too." So I think Mandy's ground game is a little bit better. Her well-roundedness at that. I think she's much more of a fighter that can do a little bit of everything. Whereas Ariane, 2-4 in the UFC already kind of proved us. Her only wins are what? Um, what's her name? The Padua and Luana Carolina. That's not really like a big. That's not that's not enough from Lipsky to make me say she's gonna beat even a newcomer like Mandy Bone. Like Mandy Bone, I think she's got enough to go in there and win. I think she's got enough to go in there. She's got the size. They're about same height. I think Mandy's strong. I seen her in some of her past fights. I think she's strong. She's got a good chance. I'm not betting on this fight. I'm not trying to talk it up like that. But I mean, I'm picking her to win, but it's not about money here. I see something here. I see something in her. If she goes in there and finishes Ariane Lipsky, I'll be like, uh-oh, uh-oh. Let's see her get like a couple of good finishes, and we might have some, not I'll say something to keep an eye on. I won't say special yet, but something to keep an eye on. I don't know what y'all think of Melissa Gatto. Melissa Gatto is definitely like a good addition to the flyweight division. Argo said I got Rocky to beat Panny. I actually got Panny, but anything can happen there. Rocky's got the experience and the jab and the clinch work. So I'm going with Panny though. I'm going with Whitmire. I am going with Blanchfield. And I'm going with Mandy Bohm. So we'll see. I'll take Laura. Yeah, I got Laura over Bennett too. I think Laura. He's going, y'all put him down. Yeah. So I got Panny, Whitmire, Blanchfield, and Bone. And I got Laura. Definitely gotta go with Laura. I think she's too big. I think she's too strong. And I think she's too big and too strong for Bennett. I think she hits harder too. She hits harder. That girl can scrap. I still want to see Laura and Denise Kielholz fight. Marcus said Taylor's killer instinct was lacking in that Mara fight. It was, man, because like Mara Romero Barella was out grappling Taylor Santos. Like, how does that happen? I had watched Taylor Santos's like first few fights in the game, before she was in the UFC, and I was like, what is going on here? I was like, what's going on here? What's going on? Like Taylor Santos getting out grappled by Mara Romero Barella. I mean, the first round, Barella was initiating the clinches. She was pushing, man. She was pushing Taylor Santos. And then she got the takedown and was just out grappling her. Then in the second round, she pressed in again, and Taylor Santos just looked a little off. Like she looked a little flat. And then boom, she takes it down again. And it's like Barella's never really going for a submission. She's just like getting a lot of ground control time. She got like over 7-8 minutes of ground control time in that fight. You know, I almost had the second round going to Taylor Santos though. Taylor landed the better shot, and I think she landed some good knees in the clinch. But you know, it was one of those rounds where I said, "Oh man, you letting this slide, girl. You letting this slide." So second round, I couldn't get mad if you gave it to Barella. I could have gave it to Santos. Third round, Taylor Santos won the round with her striking. Good jab, man. Very good jab. She hurt Barella a couple times with some good shots in the third round. Kept her on the back foot, good kicks. So her striking, was much better than Barella. I thought Barella would have been the strike, but the fight was just so opposite. Like I thought Barella would have boxed and struck more, but Taylor won with the strike. Barella wanted to clinch and grapple, and she won that. She won that. She won in that department. I thought that was crazy. So to me, I think Taylor was just off that night. Because ever since then, she hasn't looked that way. I mean, she been out striking and beating fighters up. Like Molly McCann, she outstruck, out clinch work, out grappled Jillian Robertson. Beat Jillian Robertson up, but bloodied her up. So yeah, 266 is gonna be a crazy one, man. We got a good show coming for that one though. Marcus, I got panties too. Yeah, he ain't touching that Goldie fight. Okay. Yeah. Next week 266. Oh yeah, I'm gonna I ain't giving y'all my picks. I mean, y'all might know some of my picks, but I got the show coming for that one, man. We gotta do the show Monday. Scheduling the show for Monday, UFC 266 picks. We're gonna talk about all four of them flyweight fights for real. That's what the show is about on Monday. Yeah, Monday is fight week for 266. So yeah, we're gonna be going in Monday. Monday or Tuesday? No. Should we do it Monday or Tuesday? No, we'll do Monday. We'll do Monday. We're gonna do it a little early. Daniel said Taylor made Barella look like Mara Romero and Nurmagomedov. She did, man. She did, man. Like Barella was in there out grappling her, man. She was like mauling and had Taylor on her back. I was like, something's wrong here. Taylor had a little mouse under her right eye after the fight too. I was like, what's going on, man? You have all of my picks except for one in which I got Cynthia winning either unanimous or split. Dang. Marcus got Cynthia winning this fight. Dang. Okay. That's a first. I don't think you told anybody that yet, have you? I don't know if you told. Oh, I don't think you did. I don't think you told any of us that yet. Must have to come to some type of must be some type of vision where you just seen that. I mean, save it. Save it for Monday. You got to tell me how she's gonna get this. What keys has she got to give us that unanimous or split decision? I got to know. I mean, it's not crazy. I think it's just. I'm not saying it's crazy. I just think it's different because nobody else is thinking that same way. Like I could see it. Seeing Cynthia Calvillo's resume over the past few years and who she's fought, but I'm just kind of I'm kind of counting her out because of how she's looked in her last few fights, though. I don't know. I'm excited for 266. I might make some graphics just for the sake of it. Yeah, UFC 266 is good for. It's just a good MMA card, but it's good for the flyweight division, WMMA. Uh, I think overall, yeah, we got some good action coming. Argo said he can't see Calvillo winning. I don't know, man. Calvillo, if she fights behind a jab and if she stays away from the clinch, she could do it. She could very well do it. But I got to go back and look at some fights, man. I got to go back and look at a couple fights where I can see her ramping it up, amping it up for this one here. Tisha did a good job of surviving against Jessica Andrade. So you got to have some type of toughness like Tisha. You got to have a jab like Wmma. You got to have good lateral movement like Rose, and you got to be focused. You just got to be 100% focused, like Valentina or something. You got to have that grappling, that ability to grapple with her and pin her at different angles where she can't get to you. I don't know, man. Jessica Andrade, she's always showed weakness to the jab, though. She's always showed weakness to a jab and range and lateral movement. Yeah. Let's see. Marcus said, I think lateral movement would be one of the keys based on how Cynthia will be able to get the W. Okay. I think that's a factor too, man. But I just look at Andrade and her body and her strength at flyweight. I think it's very, very dangerous. I mean, not of course not on the Shevchenko level, not Shevchenko level. That's its own level. But her strength and power when she fought Caitlin Chikagian just seems so much more. It just seems so much like it just seemed gut wrenching, which it was. I mean, she busted her gut like very, very strong amongst the other flyweights. Calvillo did good in the Jessica I fight, with her takedowns and her jabs in that fight, but can she keep up the movement? Like keep up the angles for 3 rounds with Andrade? I don't know. Really don't know. Like that's the question too. Who's made more improvements to their game? Has Andrade improved more? Has Calvillo improved more? Argos never put money on WMMA and definitely not on my pick. I put some money on it. Valentina hates Cynthia. Gary said you're asking a lot from Cynthia. All right, yeah, I mean, we'll see, man. Valentina, Cynthia keeps saying she's one of the top girls, so she has a chance to show that against Andrade. Exactly. Exactly. If she gets past Andrade, then yeah, we'll say she's a top girl. She'll more than likely be the next challenger for Valentina Shevchenko. You know, after she fights Lauren Murphy or Lauren Murphy wins, you never know what happens. So yeah, WMA, I mean, you can bet on that. I mean, if you know these fighters, it's just like MMA to me. I mean, in the men's fights, I mean, you just got to know who to pick. Like most people wouldn't believe that Holly would beat Ronda. I did. Most people didn't think Rose was gonna beat Joanna, but I did. Nunes beating Cyborg. Yeah. I didn't put money on Rose and Jessica Andrade the first fight. I just picked that fight. I said Rose. I said why? I said Rose. She gonna beat Andrade, but something was telling me like this ain't a fight to bet money on. This is not a fight to bet money on because if Rose loses focus, you know what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna happen. And you saw what happened in that first fight. I was so disgusted. I was upset. I was like, dang, Rose, you had this in the bag, but you let Andrade pick you up and slam you. I was like, damn. But I knew it was coming, man. I knew that jump was coming. I was like, oh man. Now if you say Cynthia has a chance against Valentina, no. Yeah, everybody does have, everybody's chance is greater against Andrade than it is Valentina. You know what I mean? Like Andrade can be beat by some of these fighters with basic skills. Like Andrade is a gatekeeper. Like her and Chikagian are a gatekeeper. But if you have the focus, if you have the focus and the lateral movement and the jab, you can beat these fighters. You know what I mean? Like Andrade doesn't Andrade doesn't really propose a big test. She's just very, very scary and dangerous because of her power and her strength. But that's not a big test to solve. It's a big task to stay away from. It's a big task to stay away from in Andrade, right? But she's definitely not a tough code to crack, because it's all offense. She's all offense. You can figure offense out when somebody leaves that many holes in their game. But when you talk about Valentina, that's a tough code to crack. That's a tough code to crack, man, because she's like this. She's got this force field. You know, her defense is excellent. Um, her strength is off the charts in the flyweight division, right? Her defense is off the her defense, her her um her strength is off the charts. You know, she's so well protected. That's a code to crack. Like she'll open that, you know, she'll open up that hatch every now and then to launch a rocket. And then boom, she's closed back up after she hits you. You know what I mean? That's how Valentina does. You know, she'll open that shutter, then boom, boom, catch you, shut it up, or she'll barrel over you with the tank. You know, she'll catch you sleeping and boom, her tank runs you over. Like her force field is just so hard to penetrate. Where Andrade, she's just out there. She's out there. And it's her power and it's her power and her strength that scare a lot of people and make them intimidated. But like I said, all it takes is those basic tools like lateral movement and a jab. A great jab is how you keep Andrade off of you. So if you can spit facts like that and just say, "Oh, she's tough, but this is all you need." Yeah, Andrade is, you know, she's definitely not on the level of Shevchenko, you know. Like all you need is just those basic tools. But for Valentina, oh man, you need so much more. Like you need so much more to beat her. The elite fighters, they beat Andrade with ease. They beat her with ease because they have so much more going for them, right? Like they got so much more going for them. They have everything they need to be elite. But like, yeah, when you're talking about um, the possibilities of like these other fighters beating Andrade, yeah, the possibility is greater for them. The possibility is greater for them than it is to beat Valentina because that's a code to crack. Andrade is just somebody you have to be focused for. She says she can't stand Cynthia. She probably heard that comment about the grappling. That's why. But yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming. I can see where Marcus is coming from, though. I can see why you can pick Calvillo in this situation, you know, because she can be beat. You know, she can be beat. You can go 3 or 4 or 5 rounds with her and not be hurt. Um, you just can't let her get into her momentum. You can't stand in her face. Like Calvillo will probably be all right if she don't stand in her face, stand in front of her face. You know, if she doesn't get in the phone booth with Andrade, she'll probably be all right. You know, once you get past that power factor and you get away from you keep your back away from the fence, you know, you'll cut your chances down. Yeah, man. So yeah, I don't know. I'll check out the IG too. Y'all see Zhang Weili? You know, Zhang Weili. She already got the got a couple posts up of her working with Henry Cejudo now, right? Y'all seen that? I was just looking at that today, man. I saw, okay. I said she's in there. You know, they doing some 1-2 drills together. Um, you know, they kind of getting everything together now. I like that. Henry Cejudo, I think like I said the other day, I think he'll bring a good addition to her camp, you know, and bring a new element to her as far as her mental aspect of going into a rematch with Rose Namajunas. Hold on, let me pull this up. Yeah, Zhang Weili. I don't know if y'all saw it. Yeah, check her out. She in there working, you know, shooting them 1-2s, you know, getting warmed up. He's there to help her out, man. I think he'll make a good addition. Like, I don't think he's gonna be somebody that's trying to change her. You know, I've heard some people say Weili needs to just change 100%. And I was like, nah, I don't think she needs to change. Like, she still has a lot of keys to beat Rose, you know, but changing her 100. Some people saying doing like a 180. That's crazy, man. Like you don't do no 180. Change into a whole different fighter. Like all you have to do is change a few of those weaknesses that you had, but there's still a lot of Zhang Weili that we just didn't get to see in a Rose fight. She just couldn't get to that. She couldn't get to that. She couldn't get to that level in the fight. Like there's a couple of outer levels that Weili needed to work on. But going into this fight here, Rose already had one step ahead of her. So it's on Weili to just tighten up. To me, it's on her to tighten up at this point. Like I said, I would have preferred them wait a little bit longer and not take the rematch on yet. But when you're at this point now, I think it's better to just tighten up on everything you need. Adding Henry Cejudo to the camp, I think he's going to help her know how to switch levels as a wrestler and kind of use that freestyle wrestling and teach her how to get on the inside early. Don't waste any time on the outside with a long striker. I think he's going to give her that. I think he's going to give her that, not game plan, but just overall, what's the word? I think he's going to give her that newfound confidence, and that's what she needs going into this fight. Like, there's no need to change her, but just add a little something different to your game that'll kind of make you gradually say, okay, this is what I was missing. This is what I was missing the first time. Help her refine, like she's been saying. This is gonna help her refine. Marcus said, "Yep, Cynthia will have to avoid the worst from Andrade." Yeah, when you avoid the worst of Andrade, you're good to go. It's not like when you're fighting Valentina, like you have to crack a code. You have to figure her out. Like Andrade, you don't really necessarily have to figure out. You have to avoid that storm that's constantly coming at you, that Tasmanian devil that's trying to run you down. Like it's there to be hit, but you just have to know how to hit it. You just have to know how to target that type of animal coming at you. Cynthia saw Andrade get out wrestled, so she'll be diving for the legs early. Yeah, I could see her getting some leg kicks going, then eventually trying to dive for the legs. Because I think Rose did get Rose in the second fight did get a takedown on Andrade, but she bounced back up, but she showed that she could get a takedown. I'm gonna go back and watch that fight. I'm gonna go back and watch Rose versus Andrade as well, the rematch. I don't know, man. I think Carla at this point, if Carla and Andrade were at 115, Carla might have better success than she did against Tatiana. Not saying she'll win, but I think she might. Fight be closer than you think. Argo said Zhang training with CCC would help. Just hope there's no tongue wrestling going on. Marcus, I have an idea. Should I just use Monopoly money to bet my uncle based on who's going to win between Hannah Goldie and Emily Whitmire? Yeah, that's the best bet. That's the best bet. Get that orange money, get that green money. I mean that spinach green money and that blue money. Yeah, just break out that green money and peach color money from that Monopoly box, and you good to go. That's all that fight gonna be. I ain't putting nothing on it. Yes. Yeah. No. That's not funny, man. That's true. That's true. Cynthia was outboxing I. Yeah. I remember. Yeah, for sure. She was. After she got past I's jab, she started outboxing her. And then she would just top rounds off with takedowns. So she was the better boxer and she was the better grappler. Like she didn't really try to submit Jessica in that fight, but she was taking her down and just beating her up. But yeah, no, Cynthia Calvillo, she was outboxing her. Yeah, for sure. She was putting hands on her. She was doing, she was putting 1-2s together in there. Yeah. So yeah, man, if she take a page out of that book, it's possible. Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a good fight. But dang, man, if she didn't let Caitlin Kagan outbox her. Mm. Did I pick Calvillo to win that fight? I can't remember, man, but I know that Caitlin Kagan outworked her. Yeah, I think Cynthia, I will say, I think Cynthia is a much more technical grappler. I think Cynthia is a much more technical grappler than Andrade. Andrade, she's more, athletic and strength based with her grappling. And I think it showed in the Valentina fight because when Valentina had Andrade on her back and she had the back of Andrade, Andrade really started to look helpless. I think where Calvillo, she's a little bit more slippery. Calvillo's a little bit more slippery. I think, yeah, Calvillo is a much better technical grappler than Andrade. So we'll see, man. I'm gonna go back and do my research here and see how close this fight is, man. Because you know, putting all that on the table, we do gotta kind of factor all that in. So imagine if I think if Calvillo beat Andrade too, she probably would kill that aura too, man. Y'all know if Calvillo beat Andrade, she'd probably be killing that aura. Like if she beat her, outbox her by a decision, Andrade might lose that aura. Andrade might lose that aura, man. She might not be seen as the big bad beast anymore. What's crazy is I can already see Manon Firo beating somebody like Andrade just because of the size and striking and reach advantage and how strong she is. But yeah, man, you never know, bro. You never know, man. Like she might go in there, put those tools together, win a fight by decision. And Andrade, look at that scenario, man. Andrade would probably be losing that aura. Dang, I'm outside here. Bats. There's bats out here. Damn. Daniel Everett says Cynthia's a yeah, okay, I read that. Calvi, you said Chikagan looked 3 times the size of Calvillo. Yeah, she did, man. She looked huge in that fight. Argo said Goldie versus Whitmire might get the fight of the night. Better bet your uncle money on it. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. Like that fight might. Well, Goldie versus Belbita was a good fight. I mean, wasn't like a great fight, but it was a good fight. It turned out to be good. We were all kind of sleeping on that Belbita Goldie fight. That was good. No, man, that's true. I said that too. I said that too, man. Yeah, it ain't. Yeah, you ain't making excuses. I said that too, man. Like, yeah, that what was that back in October? Not October, but yeah, like early last year. I said the same thing, man. I kind of think that did play a factor. That's why it's making it hard for me to pick. That's why it's kind of making it hard for me to pick Cynthia Calvillo because of that. I think that kind of played a factor in her performance as well. And I think that affects a lot of people, a lot of these fighters. Now, will it be in it? Will she still feel those effects in this fight? Like, did it have long-term effects? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, but yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that though, man. Uh, Argo said you like the Tim Tszyu fight versus Inoue fight. I don't know, man. Are you talking about Azuki Inoue? Because Azuki Inoue is small. Hold on. Ain't Tim Tszyu's like 154 pounds, right? I don't think that's not a good match. Is that the same? Hold on. Is that the same one you talking about? Because Tim Tszyu is 100. Tim Tszyu was like 155, 154 pounds. Oh yeah, you talking about a different Anui. Yeah, Anui, the Anui I'm talking about. Okay, yeah. That's a different one. Yeah, that's a different Anui. I'm not too familiar with this one. I know Azuki Anui. Azuki Anui, he's like 120 pounds or something like that. You know, he's like a lower weight class. But this one here, this might be an easy win for Tim Zoo. I think they're still building Tim Zoo up. So this Takashi Anui, I think this is just a given. You know, I think it's gonna be a given fight. I mean, Zoo ain't gonna go in there looking like some type of technician, but I can see him winning this fight. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a test, but I'm pretty sure this Anui he hasn't fought out of Japan before. That's how they kind of do with some of these fighters. You know, when they bring in some of these fighters from overseas, some of these guys they've never fought any type of style out of Japan. Like him and Kamige and several other fighters, you know, I've been watching over the past, years in boxing. They uh they haven't really seen like different styles, so they wind up losing if they're not really like true. If they're not really like true um students of the game, they don't know how to adjust their style when they leave the country and go to another one. You know, they go from this country to another and take on that type of style of that country. You know, because it's true. Some fighters in different countries have their own style. You know, Eastern European boxers box a certain way. Mexican fighters box a certain way. Black American fighters they box a certain way. Um, so it might be one of these fights where Inui's kind of being fed to Tim Tszyu to look good. I think Tim Tszyu will win though. All right, Argo, catch you later. I'll be back on Monday though for sure. You know, we'll be doing the flyweight show at 7 p.m. here, Eastern time out here this way. Yeah, we'll be doing that. I don't know, we might pop in Sunday too, We'll be talking about something. Yeah, but yeah, Cynthia Calvillo, I think, man, that did kind of play a factor myself, man. I did, and I hope it hasn't been like something that's just been kind of making certain things deteriorate in her. All right, so I'm about to get up out of here myself. Euro Shevchenko Blaze parlay. Yeah. I'm picking Manon, but yeah, that's a tough fight. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, you can never be surprised if certain things happen. And some, in some fights like these. Yeah, so I know, yeah, sometimes WMMA is hard to predict, but I think that comes with, MMA too, because the math doesn't add up in all these sports. So, but yeah, I'm about to get up out of here, y'all. We'll be back on to talk more for sure Monday. UFC 266. We're gonna be doing the WMMA card, the flyweight talk. So yeah, y'all stay tuned for that. And yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm about to roll out. Like always, make sure y'all hit the thumbs up. Y'all hit the thumbs up. I keep on doing these. And yeah, just shut this thing down. Hold on. So yeah, we're gonna tune in. Of course, I'm gonna drop my post-fight video talks tomorrow after these fights. So yeah, I gotta check out Bellator and UFC. So all right, y'all. Like always, Combo Breaker 99. I am out. Subscribe. Later, y'all. Peace.